Mount Longdon, June 11th and 12, 1982. Mick Southall from the 3 Para Regiment. We were ordered to advance on Longdon. Unfortunately, one of our NCOs, the leader of Platoon 4, stepped on a mine, and that alerted the Argentines, who had no idea we were there. During that chaos, I reached a rock and found myself alone. The Argentines fired at me, but the rocks protected me. After about 10 minutes, I found my section with Corporal Bailey in command. Our platoon had been split in two because of the mountain. We began to climb what is known as the Grenade Alley. When I reached a large rock, I saw an Argentine soldier and shot him. I realized how serious the situation was. I fired instinctively without much thought. That's why the training you receive before fighting is so important. My main motivation at that moment was not to let my comrades down. In those circumstances, you don't fight for your country or for the Queen, you fight for your mates. For many years, I heard people say that the Argentines did not offer much resistance during the battle. But my company lost almost 67% of its men, and they say, the Argentines did not fight. How is it possible that my company was reduced to 30 men if the Argentines did not fight? I've always considered the Argentines very patriotic and determined people, like us. They were convinced they were fighting for what was right, and they didn't run. Most of them fought with everything they had. It took us about 18 hours to take the mountains. It was a tremendous battle. Many people know nothing about Sergeant Mackay's attack, the casualties, the field dressing station, the evacuation of the wounded, and how terrible that fight was. Corporal Bailey was wounded 3 times, once in the hand, once in the hip, and once in the neck. I went with Corporal Lewis, and we found Sergeant Mackay dead. I couldn't believe it. The Argentines started shooting at us, and we fell back to where Corporal Bailey was. There we were ordered to gather the dead and wounded, and I realized how bad things were. We lost 3 of our friends. Private Burt was killed during the first attack. Private Scrivens was tending to Private Gross when he was hit by a bullet. Another young man who had just turned 18 was Private Mark Thomas. He was with me trying to carry Private Gross to the medical post. Gross had a bullet wound in his chest and was in great pain. He wasn't the only casualty, but he was the one we were trying to evacuate. We tried to comfort him, but he died, sadly. It was heartbreaking, terribly sad. It still affects me to this day, I won't lie. Then, the company commander gathered those who were left and asked us to make one more attack. It was a mix of men from other support and communications companies. We were getting ready when we were ambushed by 2 Argentines who fired automatic bursts, hitting many of us. I remember John Crow died instantly. We evacuated the wounded as best we could. Further down the mountain, we met up with what was left of B Company, about 25 or 30 men. We were told that A Company would attack the last kilometer because our B Company was decimated. We weren't annihilated, but the Argentines hit us with everything they had. Only one NCO survived, Colin Edwards. The others were dead or wounded. Many of the wounded didn't make it. The Argentine artillery was terrible. I was 17 years old.